Presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's all about. And for the Florida Gators, can they play well for more than 20 minutes? They've yet to put together a masterpiece in the NCAA tournament. Again, down 8 at half, never flinched, down 9 early in the second quarter, then a couple of consecutive 3 balls, and before you know it, that 9-point lead was surrendered, and the Gators never did look back. It has really been the calling card of this tournament. And you can go to Connecticut, certainly Texas Tech. And, you know, when Walter Clayton Jr. had it in the perimeter, had it in the paint, and backed out, turned around and buried that 3, that's the shot so far of the tournament for really anyone. And again, the Gators tonight, somewhere in the neighborhood of a point, maybe a point and a half. The total, 140.5, really down. Remember their game against Auburn. There were 159s in a hook, 160s, 160 in a hook. Down 20 points here tonight against the best overall defense in college basketball. A very physical defense. And usually when you think about physicality in basketball, it's big men down low, right? No, that's not the case. They have fiery guards who hand check, who do just an outstanding job under Kelvin Sampson. And we know that they have the best overall defense in college basketball. So what does it take to win tonight? Does 60 points win this game? Does 65 points win this game? What's it going to take for the Gators to win their 3rd national championship? How many points do you have to score? It's right here. It's insane. 58.5. That is the scoring defense that Houston gives you. They only score 73 points a game. You know, you compare that to the Gators, 85.3. But Florida gives up 14 points, nearly 15 points. Excuse me. Let's make that 12 more points a game. Defensively, giving up nearly 70 a game. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It really is, and it just feels so odd to me. It feels so unusual to me because of these late runs. And Florida's lived by it. Their run obviously came early in the second half against Auburn, as we just highlighted, but we can't get too far away from taking advantage of second opportunities, missed free throws against Connecticut, cleaning up the offensive glass, and then just being so spectacular from the free throw line in that victory against Texas Tech, forcing the Red Raiders to miss some free throws and then coming back down the floor and burying threes. We've seen these comebacks. But what about Houston on Saturday night? An 11-1 run against Duke in the final 1 minute and 10 seconds, which in my opinion goes down as one of the colossal choke jobs that I can think of, historically speaking, in an NCAA Final Four. And, you know, you look at win probability that is all over the place now, in-game, not necessarily live betting, but it's something that's been around now for quite some time, where if you go to a box score or a game cast and you're following the matchup, it'll give you percentages the entire way through as to who is favored to win the game. Before Houston went on that 11-1 run, Duke had a win probability of 92.7%. And that thing was just absolutely surrendered. Duke could not do anything with the basketball. I think they had one bucket in the final 10 minutes and 30 seconds. A lot of complaints about the officiating. You're going to get that, especially with Dookies. You know, that offensive foul on flag was not a good call, but I can think of some a little bit earlier in the matchup that the referees favored Duke. I think it all evened out. I just hope that that's not the deal tonight. Either way. Okay, there was some rumblings about Texas Tech and some earlier games. Officials, did they favor Florida over Texas Tech? I pick my spots when it comes to the officiating affected the outcome of the game. But let me say this. Win or lose tonight for either Houston or for the Florida Gators, I hope the officiating isn't a major story when it's all said and done, because that's just bad. It is. I hope this game is won fair and square. Obviously, I do not want Florida to win. I don't feel the hate. I don't. I mean, I'm a Florida State guy. Of course, I'm not rooting for Florida. I don't feel the hate. I think that I've softened up over the years, and then I'll be honest with you. It's basketball. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Football to me is a totally different animal. This is still a football town. Basketball is some gravy. Now, it's good gravy. It's like it's like your old grandmother's gravy. It's going to taste really, really good. But it's hoops, right? And to me, it just absolutely pales in comparison to football. So, no, I don't have the hate. Yeah, I played golf early Saturday morning, long before the Final Four matchups, and I was playing with a Florida State buddy. He's like, I'm rooting for Florida. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? What type of drugs are you on? How can you be a Florida State guy rooting for Florida? He's like, well, I picked him in my bracket. And I'm like, who cares? Half the world picked them in your bracket. Do you think under the wildest of dreams, right? I mean, we're talking Moody Blues here, in your wildest of dreams, that if Florida State was ever in that position, they were in a Final Four, what was it, in 1970 or 1972, when UCLA won it. Yeah, JU was in it one of those years, and Florida State was in it 2 years later. I don't remember who went first in 70 or 72. I have to look it up. But nonetheless, you think Gator fans rooted for Florida State then? No. I mean, maybe we are just softening up here in Jacksonville. Or maybe the fact is it's hoops. It's basketball. It doesn't sting. It doesn't burn like it obviously does in football. So that is the latest as far as that is concerned. And we're going to be joined here in just a couple of moments by my good buddy Pat Kennedy, former head coach of Florida State, DePaul, Iona, and Montana, among others, to give us what he does believe is going to be the difference in this matchup tonight. Again, it's basically a pick-em matchup from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Florida, a slight favorite. Most shops that I've seen somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1.5 points here against Houston. All right, Jaguars news today. Trayvon Walker, as expected, fifth-year team option picked up. And it makes total sense. They have until May 1st, and they got it done today. He'll play the 2025 season for $11,800,000, which is real good money, if you ask me. The option for 2026, the team-only option, and as you know, this only applies to first-round draft picks, where you can pick up that fifth year. It's going to average $14,750,000. That's going to be the mark there for Trayvon Walker next year. So 11.8 this year, 14.75 next year. That's pretty good money. That's more than $25 million over the next 2 years. And I've been a big believer that you should slow the process here, that you don't have to be in any hurry to get a long-term contract done with Trayvon Walker, even though Jacksonville has the resources. They have the funds to do that right now if they want. And honestly, he's the only candidate that I can think of that is on the roster who is coming up on a contract extension that this organization needs to keep. All right, Devin Lloyd, I will be surprised if they pick up his fifth-year team-only option. I still think Devin Lloyd can be a good football player. I still think Devin Lloyd has been really misused here in Duval. I'm looking forward to see what Anthony Campanile is able to do here because he's a linebacker coach by trade. But now he's going to take over this defense, and I'd love to see them move around Devin Lloyd a little bit. Is this a 4-3 defense? Is this a 3-4 defense? Is that just talk? Once you get in the game, you mix things up anyway. But where is Devin Lloyd? Is he an outside linebacker? Is he a guy that maybe could come up on the edge and rush the quarterback? We've been asking those questions for 3+ years. We just haven't seen it. We know he did it at Utah. I think he's solid against the run. I've read those Pro Football Focus numbers that if you run towards Devin Lloyd, he's going to make the tackle. Obviously, he leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to coverage, right? The Jaguars do not have a good coverage linebacker. And I think that has to be addressed, right? With all of the team needs and everything that we continuously talk about that Jacksonville is going to do once the NFL draft gets here in just a couple of Thursdays, linebackers not among, the positions that you hear initially. My world is another offensive lineman and a wide receiver. Your world is a defensive tackle, a corner, a safety, maybe some depth at edge, and then you finally get the linebacker. But I think they're solid against the run. I think Ventrell Miller and Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd can play good football in obvious run situations. But when you're asked to cover, in passing scenarios, that is a problem. There's no doubt. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Travis Hunter in the news. Adam Schefter today telling us that the inroads are all leading to Cleveland now selecting Hunter at number 2. I'm trying to find a way to get Travis Hunter here to Duval at number 5. I just don't know how to pull that off, right? If Hunter goes to, he met with the Cleveland brass last week, so did Shedeur Sanders. That included co-owner Jimmy Haslam, among others. I just think that Cleveland is looking at this and saying, this is a can't-miss prospect. This is a guy that you have to load up on, and you have to go ahead and pull the trigger. I always thought that the first position player was going to be Abdul Carter. Still could be. But again, Adam Schefter with some interesting stuff today involved here with Cleveland possibly moving up to get him at number 2. What does that mean for Shedeur Sanders? I still think New York could get him at 3. As I've said all along, even though bringing in Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal and Jameis Winston on a 2-year deal, if New York believes that Shedeur Sanders is, in fact, a franchise quarterback, then absolutely they are going to make that move. So we'll see. But we have that to talk about as well as we get things cranked up right here on a Monday edition. So here's what's up. All right, Pat Kennedy in about 7 minutes. Let's talk to him and get his breakdown on tonight's matchup between Houston and Florida. Plenty of Jaguars talk over the next couple of hours. And then as we get ready for hour number 2, more on tonight's game, including Dylan Denmark and Graham Marsh, who do a really good job post-game. They do it with football, and they do it with basketball after the game on all of our socials. You see those two. So Graham's going to roll in here to studio along with Dylan. I got a handful of questions I want to ask them about tonight's matchup. So that's going to be a part of things as well coming up in our second hour. Right now, show brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. You're talking about a generation here, 2 generations, all right? Father and daughter at Shmunez Vision. And it's a family-owned medical practice. I love that about them, right? I mean, it's not one of these corporate eye care centers that are all over the place and in every single town. No, this is a privately owned, family-owned medical practice. And that's why it's one of the many reasons that I think so highly of them. They're also doing a really good job when it comes to value, because eye care has become incredibly expensive with all of this new technology. Now, they have all that technology, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're not going or that they are going to use it, right? The most expensive isn't always the best. They would be for tonight in this basketball game in San Antonio, but that should not be the deal when it comes to your eyes. So no matter what is going on right now with the pollen that is out there, allergies all over the place, if you're itching your eyes, if something's going on, make an appointment. Shmunez Vision. How does 2020 sound for the rest of your days? Maybe you're a candidate for laser eye surgery. If you think there's something more significant, refractive surgery, cataract surgery, there's so many different ways, or they may have a remedy where no surgery is needed. Just check them out. Go to Shmunez Vision. That is the website. You can also grab all of their testimonials by going to Shmunez Vision on Instagram. All right, we're loaded, fired up. What a week it's going to be. It begins tonight with a national title. And then we roll into the Masters, which is insane. I have room for 2 foursomes, but actually I have room for a twosome and a foursome. First one who gets to me, 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. We'll get some clarity on it. But if you want to play it, Cimarron. It's $54. It's going to be Wednesday afternoon. The tee time is about 1 o'clock. One of our big sponsors here. We're going to have a 92.5 event out there. Then I'm going to do my show after the fact. But they're bringing in this incredible simulator, if you will, of the 12th hole at Augusta. So you can go ahead and do that, things along those lines. And we're just going to have a great event. So don't call. Text only. 641-1010 if you're interested in playing. That's 641-1010 on our text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Again, I got room for at least 1 twosome and at least 1 foursome. That's going to be here before you know it. That's coming up on Wednesday. All right, let's get rolling. You can also join us tonight on YouTube. Go to Into the Night 1010XL or on Twitter, Ballou 1010XL.
Dan Hicken.
You know my song, Love Me Sexy?
Yeah, everybody loves that song, man. It was #1 in the country.
I stole it.
No. Jeff Prosser.
Sure, you've all heard the rumors, and they are true.
Mornings on 1010XL.
This thing was a disaster from the word go.
Hicken here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, get $300 off all windows or $825 off patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires April 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
It's game time for your
business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Better known.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain link to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6. Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner. That's a number? Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today.
Brought to you by Synovus Bank member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
What's the major difference between a crocodile and an alligator? The answer next.
Lightning, storms, and hurricane winds can ruin recent home improvements. Let Southern Oak Insurance review your policy today. Visit us online at southernoakins.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
While an alligator will see you later, a crocodile will see you after a while.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The national championship is played tonight. We'll check in with our good friend Pat Kennedy in 30 seconds. We want to tell you the Tonight Show is brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. If you've been injured, car crash, or, regardless of what it is, you want a law practice where you're going to get individualized attention. All right. You also want a law practice where they're going to be responsive. How difficult is that when you're trying to get a hold of your lawyer? And, you got to wait back for phone calls. That is never going to be the case at the Alexander Law Practice. They're big on individual attention and to get you the result that everyone does want. We're talking about more than 30 years worth of experience with Rick Alexander. So remember, with Rick as well, you're never coming out of pocket until everything is set at the end of the case. For a free review, just go to alexanderlawpractice.com. That's alexanderlawpractice.com, or call him at 400-6600. Let's bring in Pat Kennedy. We spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, and it's great to bring him back as we move closer to tonight's national championship between Houston and Florida. Pat, always a lot of fun. How are you?
Hey, Rick. Great to be with you, buddy.
30 years is the difference between Kelvin Sampson and Todd Golden. If Sampson wins this one tonight, he'll be the oldest coach. And your old buddy Jim Valvano, the late Jim Valvano, was the youngest. But Golden, I believe, would tie him if he wins tonight at the age of 39.
Yeah, it's two outstanding coaches. I mean, Todd Golden has really proven himself to be right up there. And you remember, he was a point guard at St. Mary's. So he played for Coach Bennett out in St. Mary's in California, which is one of the great mid to high major programs in the country. But he played for a great coach. And he played for Bruce Pearl on the Jewish team, international play. And then he coached under Bruce Pearl at Auburn. So he has got a lot of tutelage that's very, very high quality. And he does a great job. He's really bought into the NBA style of offense. When thinking about this game, Rick, it's not for those that can remember this, but for those who can, it's almost like a Frazier-Ollie fight. You know, you've got one team that's going to look pretty and really move and slink to the basket, and then you got another team that's just going to come at you and punch you and punch you and punch you. So it's going to be a game of two different styles, and it's going to be great to see who can maintain it. Kelvin Sampson's teams have played like this all the way back to the years he coached at Washington State. And a great guy, just another one of those great individuals of people that kind of came up when I was coming up to Tom Izzo, Jim Calhoun, obviously. A lot of the guys that were winners back then are still winners now, and along with Tom Izzo. So good luck to both of them. Todd's got time to win one.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be nice, obviously, if Houston won.
Yeah, it would, and we all remember what happened to them back in '83, that last-second Lorenzo Charles game winner to knock off Houston there by North Carolina State. What in your decades of being involved in something like this, when you see a great offense like Florida that scores 86 a game and they can come from behind and light it up from anywhere against the best overall defense in college basketball that Kelvin Sampson has at Houston, what type of game usually prevails?
Well, it's going to be a struggle early. I know that Houston is not going to want to allow Florida to get any second shots, any second rebounds. And you're going to have to slow Florida down because if you watch them closely, Rick, they outlet the ball. I thought our Florida State teams did that with Charlie and Sam and Bobby Serra. You know, they outlet the ball as quick as anybody, and that really ignites them. Houston will, Kelvin will get up and will slow it down. You'll see him from the sideline putting his two hands up to get it in the hands of your guards, but let's slow it down. Let's get it across half court. And at the end of the day, when you listen to the commentators on TV, they'll all be talking about the score. Barkley's been talking about that a lot, Clark Kellogg a lot. So if this game for any reason is in the high 60s, low 70s, that favors Houston. It doesn't mean that they're going to win it if it's there. And obviously if it gets up over 72, 73, it favors the Gators. So how the game flows will be very important. Florida will want to speed it up, and, of course, Houston will want to slow it down.
Pat Kennedy, our guest. Of course, he is a former head coach, several stops in college football, most notably down the road in Tallahassee at Florida State. This has been a really kind of bizarre tournament where we haven't seen a lot of last-second shots and game winners, but it's been phenomenal runs late. Florida against Connecticut, Florida against Texas Tech. I still can't believe what they did 2 Saturdays ago there. And then who would have thought that Duke would surrender that lead and allow Houston to go on 11-1 run in the final 1 minute in 10 seconds on Saturday night?
Well, it's always known, college basketball has been known as a game of runs. And more so now than ever with the three-point shot. And the fact that the younger players have gotten to the point where they're just great at shooting the three ball, it's never over. And so there are a lot more of the runs late in the game. There's even more runs at the end of the half. Now girls basketball's got the 4 different quarters, but obviously in men's it's a straight 20 minutes. And you can look up and say, okay, we're up 11. Well, 3 baskets is 9 points, right? So all of a sudden it's a one-possession game. You have to think of it more in terms of how many possessions are feasible in order to either win the game or tie the game or take the lead. And usually it's going to include a few three-pointers, but the three-point shot has changed everything.
Yeah. You mentioned Ali Frazier. I thought that was a great analogy. I mean, late in the game, Duke looked exhausted. They looked like they were physically worn down by Houston. And listen, I don't know the game like you do, but when I've always thought of physicality, I think of the big men underneath. That's really not the deal here with Houston. They're really physical, but they are on the wings. They are certainly with guard play. How does Florida overcome not getting taken advantage of in that category tonight?
Yeah, well, here's what the fans have got to look for. When they play physical, and when commentators say that this team is really physical, what it is, Rick, it's the dribble handoffs. It's coming over the screens. The physicalness is like if you're dribbling and you're going to hand it off, I fight over that handoff, and I bang the heck out of the guy giving him the ball. A lot of times I bang the cutter. If I'm coming off a single screen or double screen as a defender, I don't just slip through. I bang through, and I bang hard. So when you watch Houston, they don't get called necessarily for the fouls, but they take it to the nth degree. And if you don't teach your kids how to play physical, they're not going to. It's like Rick Pitino's thing with St. John's. I'm going to press you and foul you as much as I can until you start calling it. But if you don't call it, I'm going to keep pressing and keep fouling and reaching. If you saw St. John's this year, late in the season in the Big East tournament, they were horrible at fouling people. Mm-hmm. But if the refs don't call it, they're going to keep right on fouling. Houston will start out immediately, and plus they will take Walter Clayton, and they will face guard him. They'll wrap him up with their arms, and I'm sure that Coach Golden's going to be early on the refs about making sure that Walter's got some space to move.
Well, he's been the best player in the tournament, and, he has an opportunity tonight to be the MVP and win a national title. Let's wrap with that. Let's take it a step farther. He's going to be asked to go out and win this game for Florida. What does Houston do to try to contain him tonight?
Well, again, they're going to bang him. They're going to bang him. They're going to try to tie him up. When he doesn't have the ball, they're going to face guard him, which means the defender doesn't care where the ball is. The defender just cares where he is. And they're going to face guard him. I'm sure when he gets it, they're going to run a second person at him. So when he gets that ball out on the perimeter, they're not going to allow him just to jack up and shoot the ball. They're going to run a second defender at him and force him. In other words, just don't let him beat you. Mm-hmm. Make him have to pass the ball to somebody else because he's proven, got any question about that. And in the last game, Rick, how about the shots he made going to the basket?
Oh, yeah.
I mean his three-pointers are just out of sight. But so that's why I remind you of Steph Curry. Steph over time really developed his game going to the basket and finishing. But I just love this kid. He has winner written all over him. Any NBA team that doesn't take him is out of their minds. He'll be like the guard that the Knicks have, Brunson from Villanova. The kid is just flat out a winner. And again, like I said, for Kelvin Sampson, I'd love to see Houston play. But as a Floridian, although it hurts me a little bit as a Seminole to say this, I also would love to see the Gators win. I'd love to see Clayton, who came from Iona, where I started out coaching. Yeah.
No doubt.
Be the MVP and finish it off the right way. So it's going to be a great game, man. These two teams are going to battle.
Pat Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen. Pat, always a pleasure, sir. We'll catch up soon. Thank you.
All right, Rick. Be well, buddy.
There he goes. Pat Kennedy began his career at Iona before coming over to Florida State, left and went to DePaul. And then it was Montana. It was either Montana State. I don't have the resume up. And then he was at Alcorn State. But I'm a big fan of Pat Kennedy personally. Always have really liked him and spent a lot of time together. with Pat, obviously, in Tallahassee, but also spent time with him in Chicago when he was at DePaul the 7 years that I worked there. Again, the first Final Four I went to was in 2000 when Florida lost to Michigan State. I was there in Indianapolis, and Pat Kennedy was doing some work with us then at One-on-One Sports as a college basketball analyst. Always does a really good job. Yeah, I mean, Will Richard, he's been kind of quiet as of late. Only, 7 points? I mean, you didn't need more from him because you got 34 from Walter Clayton Jr. I've always loved this about basketball. They're going to say, don't let the best player beat you, right? Well, Michael Jordan, whether it was in college with that baseline J, it wasn't a baseline J, it was a normal J, or at the professional level, they did everything they could to try to slow him down. He still made the big shots with the game on the line. Okay, he's the greatest player to ever play. But it'll be interesting tonight to see what Kelvin Sampson can do with Walter Clayton Jr. He has been their best player. He's averaging 24.6 points, 50% from the field. He's 19 of 39 from behind the three-point arc, which is just below 50%. 48.7. The man has made 38 of 42 free throws. And think of the pressure on some of those free throws, particularly during the comeback process against Tech, and then being able to make them again down 8 at halftime against Auburn. Florida's won 11 straight. Florida has won 17 of 18. And in my opinion, they haven't played a solid 40 minutes of basketball in the NCAA tournament. That included their first round game. You know, they got off to a huge lead. I can't even remember who do you guys have in the first round?
Norfolk State.
Yeah, they came back a little bit in that game. So we'll come back. We'll get Dylan Denmark's thoughts on this. And again, Dylan and Graham Marsh are going to join us in our second hour. So we're going to do a lot of college basketball, obviously, here on the night of the national championship. Houston, they've won 31 of 32. They have not lost since early December. I mean, think of how impressive it is for the Gators, who, again, have won, 17 of 18. The Gators haven't lost since February 25th when Georgia beat them 88-83. So we're talking about two basketball teams that are absolutely on fire right now. Once again, tonight's show brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. Contact my buddy Rick Alexander if you've been in a car crash or any other type of personal injury. Just go to alexanderlawpractice.com or call him for a free review, 400-6600. We got much more to do. Best way to join us, text line 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Here come the Gators.
Clayton fires for three. Good, good, good.
This is the NCAA National Championship game.
Bang! Got it off the catch.
Pre-game coverage starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on your home for Florida basketball. 1010XL.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contracting protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Right now, get 15% off roof replacement and repairs. Financing's available with monthly payments as low as $115. But this deal ends April 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I Am Beaches Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 7, 1963, at the age of 23, Jack Nicklaus won the Masters tournament, becoming the youngest golfer to do so with a 3-foot par putt on the final hole.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. There was a time when if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers. Pizza, pasta, bread. Carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. Then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving that we all accepted as normal? That's gone for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need them. So when the server puts that bread basket on the table, I just smile, sit back, and say, nah, I'm good. That feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Ballou is on his way, and you can lose whatever you want to lose. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call at 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, you'll thank yourself.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Welcome, John, our new admin lead.
Thanks.
You've got your laptop, all your admin apps. Oh, and you'll be in charge of ordering food for the team. So here's your drawer full of menus.
Whoa.
You'll keep your receipts in this file folder. Whoops. Receipt confetti.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and all these sticky notes have everyone's dietary preferences.
Have you tried EasyCater? Online ordering from great restaurants, tools to save time and stay on budget, digital receipts in one place.
We're going to need a bigger recycling bin.
EasyCater, the smarter, simpler way to order food for your workplace. Order now at easycater.com.
10
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Well, even the great ones rest. That includes my favorite restaurant in Jacksonville. That is the Blue Crab House, where they're back at it tomorrow. $2 margaritas. Every Tuesday, $9 margarita pitchers. $1 steamed oysters on Wednesday night. They're open 4:30 to 9. Again, closed tonight. But back at it on Tuesday. A lot of folks calling Dylan. I don't want you calling Dylan. I want you texting me. 641-1010 if you could play in our 92.5 event Wednesday afternoon at Cimarron. So I have a couple of tee times left at 1 o'clock or so. If you have a twosome, if you have a foursome, text me, 641-1010, and I will give you all the details. How you feeling? You getting nervous? I mean, we're 2 hours from tip, so you got a little bit of time, but what's going through your mind right now?
The entire time up until now, I'm getting more anxious as the tip-off gets here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where I said this right after the Gator post game. For Houston to beat Duke, they needed 70 to win, and they scored exactly 70. I kind of still feel the same way for them to beat Florida. I still think Florida can score over 70. And Florida's only scored under 70 one time this year. That was when they played at Tennessee. Horrible game. They scored 44, and Tennessee's got a really good defense. I still think Florida can still win multiple ways. I think Houston can only win one way, and that's if they can shoot the lights out like they did down the stretch when they played against Duke.
Yeah. I mean, this game is not over until the final second ticks away, and you never want to be down the way that Houston was down. You never want to be down the way that Florida was down at half to Auburn, or the way they were down with, less than 4 minutes to go against Texas Tech, or certainly what happened the game prior to that against the University of Connecticut. But, I just can't get that through my mind how this basketball series for Florida and now Houston has been all about, as Pat Kennedy described, runs. And basketball has always been a game of runs. And I know it's very frustrating for a passionate basketball fan. You're like, why can't you fill it up on the other side? How can you go through such an incredible drought? Houston went through a sizable drought in their victory against Duke. You can't do that against Florida. Houston has also struggled with free throws if you compare that with what, obviously, the University of Florida has done from the stripe, where they have been absolutely spectacular. But I just love the fact that it seems like we would magnify this much more in football. But this is a dynamic offense where everyone on the floor can score for Todd Golden, giving you 86 points a game against the best defense in college basketball. Again, let me find the numbers. I think it's 58.5 a game. That is absolutely petrifying if you're a Gator fan. And look at the field goal percentage defense. 38.2% is Houston. All right, Florida's good on defense as well, 40%. All right, they do give up 12 more points a game, do the Gators, but they also score 12 points more a game against Houston. So you can take all these numbers and throw them in there, and that's why it's basically a pick 'em. Maybe in some places Florida favored by 1 point or 1.5 points, but it just feels like tonight's game is going to be able to come down to which team is able to play their style of basketball. And if Houston wins, you got to believe it's going to be in the 60s, right? Can Florida score? I think 70 points would be the number. And, I'm not going out on a limb here. The total's 140. But it feels like if you were to just put a number out there, and I know Dylan just mentioned that, 70 to me is that magic number. That may not be comfortable enough to you as a Gator fan. You may say, hell no. You're going to need 74. You're going to need 75 or 76 or whatever it is tonight. I think Florida wins if they can put up 70 points. So, hey, we'll see. Going to be a blast tonight. Looking forward to this matchup. And, again, kind of a later start. Wasn't it 8:50 tonight? We're going to have it for you on both of our stations. Hacker was in earlier today with Hayes, so Hacker's off tonight. As soon as we wrap up here at 8 o'clock, we're going to flip over, and you are going to get it both on 92.5 on the FM as well as 1010 on the AM. We will have the entire basketball game for you tonight, start to finish. And then after the game, Dylan Denmark is going to be joined by Graham Marsh to do their post game on all of our socials. And as a matter of fact, we're going to bring them in about 30 minutes. And I have a handful of questions to ask them. Iron Eagle, Bill Raftery, who's retiring, and Grant Hill, Tracy Wolfson will be patrolling the sidelines. Those are your broadcasters tonight. And what is, I just said this a few weeks ago, free agency and the Players' Championship. That month of March is arguably the greatest non-football week of the year. Well, for you now, this tops it, especially for Gator fans, right? You're playing for the national title tonight, and then beginning on Thursday, it's the first major of the year with the Masters, and just how phenomenal that's going to be. And we'll start to really get towards that on Tuesday's program. But the CRS just said, damn, Rick figured out the YouTube chat. Hide your wives. Take that personally, man. I mean, been with the same woman for 17 plus, almost 18 years. I think it's coming up on next month. But anyway, I appreciate the humor there. Humor's always going to stop me. But it's the Masters beginning on Thursday. So this is maybe the greatest non-football week of the year. And we're going to be here for it on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. All right, much more to do. You can get us on YouTube like CRS092 did. All right, just go to 1010XL into the night. Get us on Twitter or X, Ballou1010XL, and as well on our text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
He's big on the NFL.
Are you serious?
He's big on the Jags.
It's huge for all of us.
He's just plain big.
He is a big one.
Mike Dempsey.
Oh, yes, sir. He's a very bad man indeed.
Jaguars Today, 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Campbell, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
If you've been in an auto accident, you can count on the experts at San Jose Collision to return your vehicle to pre-accident conditions. San Jose Collision can also provide a fresh paint job to freshen up your vehicle or completely change its appearance. They can paint and repair all foreign and domestic cars and trucks. When quality and professionalism are important to you, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Best Bet is number one. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I love it. You shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did.
The love that a little box from Beard's Diamonds can hold is something that those big box jewelry stores can't understand. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beard's Diamonds knows that our little boxes are full of promises, celebrations, milestones, and magic. Big box jewelers only have big overhead and big markups, but Beard's Diamonds sees the big picture of the little box. That's why you can look to us for a great selection of dazzling diamonds and designer jewelry, and a listen-first approach to helping you turn what's in a little box into a big part of your special someone's life. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beard's Diamonds in Town Center. When it comes to helping you celebrate with beautiful jewelry, Beard's Diamonds thinks outside the big box stores. And that makes a big difference. Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers, and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills, and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Less than 2 hours away from the national championship tonight in San Antonio, the Alamo Dome. Gators trying to win a natty, and they are a slight favorite. Obviously one possession, but you can find it anywhere at even pick'em to the Gators -1, perhaps the Gators minus a 1.5, depending on where you shop. We're 20 minutes away from our producer Dylan Denmark and Graham Marsh joining us, a couple of Gator grads who do a wonderful job with Gator recaps, and they'll do that tonight. It'll be late night. We'll possibly. Well, no, I was going to say run into Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock start here. I doubt that, but it will certainly be in the 11 o'clock, late in the 11 o'clock hour. So that's coming up, and we're going to do that momentarily, no doubt about it. A couple of other things, though. Vladimir Guerrero got $500 million. Vladdy Jr. And that is just incredible money. 14 years, $500 million. I still think it's going to be basketball. I don't know. That'd be interesting to bet. Is it going to be basketball or baseball? Who is going to be the first ever $1 billion athlete, right? And 14 years is a decent Major League Baseball career, but you can certainly take that plus 20, right? Basketball, 14 years is a wonderful career. That's an incredible career. So, we'll see, but some big money there for Vladimir Guerrero. Also, Alex Ovechkin became the all-time leader, historically speaking, in goals and deserves to be recognized for that. His 895th. I like the way he did it down the stretch without empty net goals. And I'm always a big fan of Alex Ovechkin. I got really turned off the last couple of years in pursuit of this during his hunt. I just thought too many empty net goals. And he's got, I think, 10 more lifetime than Wayne Gretzky. He's the leader in that category as well. 3800 says, and this is why we're a well-rounded show. Okay? He says, hey, Rick, I just want to let you know, I took your advice on Friday when you said just listen to your girl. And that is the most sound advice I've ever heard. Thank you, Uncle Rick. I won the weekend because of you. I appreciate it. Yeah. The number one rule for any man when it comes to your woman, just listen. Just shut your mouth and listen and let them talk. They absolutely want to be heard, and act like a dog, turn your head a little bit, make a facial expression, but just don't say anything until she's done, and anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds actually go by where there's dead silence. Then that is your cue to finally say something. But remember, less is more. And in this case, just jam it. So, yeah, some sound advice there. You're welcome, 3800. I'm glad to be here for you when it comes to that. Our text line is also saying this. Been a lot of comments that are coming in on Alex Condon for this basketball game tonight. The 6'11 sophomore, 9067 says he has scared eyes. Another one, I'm trying to remember where it is here now. I'm getting a lot of texts that are coming in. Here it is. 3478 says, Boo, I know you guys just finished a segment on the Gators, but I'm surprised more hasn't been made of the very lackluster performance by Alex Condon against Auburn. All right, he's not 100%. We know that. Then again, no one's 100% this time of year. What do you make of Alex Condon and the way that he has played in this tournament?
He has not played on par to what we thought he was going to be in the tournament. The last game he had where he had an offensive burst where he had like 20-plus points was when they played at Alabama. Since then, he has not been the same offensively. And you thought that coming to the tournament, Walter Clayton would be the guy, which he has been. And then the second person that would be getting a lot of your points would be Alex Condon. And it hasn't been. It's been more of Elijah Martin, Will Richard, and a couple other guys. But Alex Condon has not been what Florida fans thought he was going to be in this tournament.
Yeah. He had 1 point, 0 for 5 from the field, 3 turnovers. And, we talked about Will Richard a little bit earlier. He had a quiet night, only 7.6 rebounds. And in a game where, again, I think the magic number is 70. If Florida can score 70 tonight, I think they win this game. If Houston can score 70 tonight, I think they win this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, no question about it. But you're going to need one of those two to step up and not dazzle you with fantastic numbers, but perhaps just make a clutch shot. with the game on the line. So we shall see. All right, Graham and Dylan coming up here in about 15 minutes. Again, we're going to really take a look at tonight's basketball game between Florida and Houston. If you are joining us for the first time, there is Jaguars news. Trayvon Walker had his fifth-year team-only option picked up. He'll play this year for $11.8 million. That fifth-year option is good for $14,751,000. The talk now becomes, when do you put together a long-term contract extension? I have been pretty outspoken about the fact that I don't think there's any hurry here. And I get the end result. We just went through this when talking about Josh Hines Allen and Trevor Lawrence, etc. I just don't think that it's a pressing need to get this thing done immediately, right? Liam Cohen said from the NFL's owners' meetings last week in Palm Beach that they've already had conversations, and I'd be very interested as to what those conversations are like, because this is where your agency comes into play. The last thing you want is your client, right, your athlete, to be talking numbers, right? I mean, maybe with what Liam Cohen did just to try to get whether or not he wants to remain in Jacksonville. And there's no indication that Trayvon Walker wants to play anywhere else. But Myles Garrett, man, $40 million a year. And I get it. Walker's not near that. Okay? Myles Garrett, I think, is the best defensive player in the NFL. $40 million. $35 million for Max Crosby. But this is only going to go up. What becomes a concern is if you don't get this deal done, it's going to cost you that much more in a year or in 2 years. But are you convinced that Trayvon Walker is going to get much better this year and is going to get much better last year? He's arguably their best defensive player. And I think there's always a little bit of criticism with Walker because he was the first pick in the draft. If he was drafted at number 15, there wouldn't be as much negativity. It's not his fault. It's where he ended up getting selected. But this money's going to grow. I mean, you're already having issues in Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson, who feels like, he's not being treated well. It seems like a week doesn't go by where something doesn't come up with Micah Parsons in Dallas. That's going to be a huge deal. I think it is relatively not unanimous, but certainly the majority would say that Aiden Hutchinson has had a better 3-year career than Trayvon Walker. And I get it. Hutchinson missed significant time last year with an injury, but he's up for a deal. So if you get those three done, which are going to happen, that is totally going to inflate the overall price of the contract for Trayvon Walker. But I would still put that on hold. I would. That is my way of looking at it when it comes to Walker. The Devin Lloyd situation is even more intriguing because I'm under the opinion this is it for him. I'm under the opinion they don't pick up that fifth year, right? Is Devin Lloyd worth $1 million a game or almost $1 million a game? It's probably $850,000 a game. If you pick up his fifth year, that's $14,751,000. I do absolutely subscribe to the feeling that Devin Lloyd has not been used correctly. And this is going to be, unfortunately for him, a third different defensive coordinator in 4 years. Same applies for Trayvon Walker. There just feels like something's missing with Lloyd. It reminds me a little bit of Reggie Nelson. It reminds me a little bit of, I don't want to say Taven Bryan because he just didn't play well. I thought Reggie played well, but they asked him to think too much instead of just trusting your football instincts. And this is just my opinion on it. I think that Devin Lloyd gets so caught up in his responsibility with his defensive keys that he's not loose and just goes out and plays football. Okay? That's my view of what has gone on with Devin Lloyd in his career. I just can't see paying a linebacker this amount of money who only does one thing well. And he's not even sensational at it. He plays average or above average, and that's against the run. Devin Lloyd is a massive liability in coverage. He just can't cover. Now, maybe Anthony Campanile will come in, they'll say, listen, the coaching is wrong, the scheme is wrong, we can fix him. Who knows? Maybe that is the case, right? And maybe finally we'll see a situation where they allow Devin Lloyd to pin back the ears and rush the quarterback, right? He did that at Houston. That's been a point of conversation during 3 preseasons. And remember last year, his move to middle and how he smiled and, I'm not going to be covering anymore. Well, you and I saw Devin Lloyd cover, and he wasn't exclusively playing middle linebacker last year under Ryan Nielsen. I'm a big Devin Lloyd fan, personally. He's one of my favorite guys in the locker room to go to. I think he's a good quote, and he's never hiding in the training room. He's always there. He's always available, and I appreciate that. But I would not hurry to get that done. I would not pick up that 5th-year option. I would let this thing ride out. And, could it devil's advocate come into play? If he has a great season, you want to bring him back? Sure. Right? And maybe in his 4th year. Remember, he came in as an older, I want to say he's already 25 years of age. Devin Lloyd was a little bit older than he took advantage of some of those COVID rules or what have you. But he wasn't like he was a 21-year-old freshman or a 21-year-old rookie when he actually did get here. So that's my way of thinking of it. I'd let this thing ride out with Devin Lloyd, and absolutely do believe what they did today with Trayvon Walker is the right way to go about it. No doubt about that. All right, let's switch our attention back to college basketball, as we're going to be joined here on the other side by Dylan Denmark and Graham Marsh. Got a couple of questions I want to ask these guys, and I think we'll see a pattern pretty early in this game as to what style it is going to be tonight. But can one of these two teams take the opponent out of their comfort zone? This is a classic matchup tonight because it's two teams that do things completely differently, right? I mean, this almost feels like the old Pac-12 against the Big Ten. Not necessarily the two best teams in an old Rose Bowl matchup, but, the Pac-10 can win games 50-48 in college football, the old Pac-12. And the Big Ten, going to run the ball, take some clock. Big Ten football can win games, 14-10. That's the way I look at this game tonight with Houston. They're going to slow things down and try to be very physical and make it a low-scoring game, where Florida obviously is a team that is so electrifying offensively. If shots are going down, they're going to try to up the score. The more that you score, the more that it favors Florida. There's no doubt. Okay, a high-scoring game is not what Houston wants. The Gators, the exact opposite. So let's do that on the other side. We got much more to do as well with you. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us on YouTube. Just go to 1010XL Into the Night and catch me on Twitter or X. That's Ballou, Ballou, 1010XL.
5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1 for sports in the 904, 1010XL.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Summer in Jacksonville. Sun's out, flip-flops on, and whoa! Well, there goes Uncle Bob into the pool again. Protect your pool deck with Don't Slip Deck Coatings of Jacksonville. Their multi-layered slip-resistant coatings keep you on your feet, not on your backside. Durable, stylish, and way cheaper than an ER visit. Don't Slip Deck Coatings even has indoor options so your kitchen floor isn't a skating rink. Call 904-466-1839 for a free quote and follow Don't Slip Jacks on Facebook and Instagram.
Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 7, 1963, at the age of 23, Jack Nicklaus won the Masters tournament, becoming the youngest golfer to do so with a 3-foot par putt on the final hole.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contracting protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Right now, get 15% off roof replacement and repairs. Financing's available with monthly payments as low as $115. But this deal ends April 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Tonight with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
They play for the national championship tonight. Number 1, Florida. Number 1, Houston. Of course, it's been chalk with 4 number 1 seeds. The Alamo Dome at 8:50. The winner will be crowned a national champion. Immediately following the game, and we're going to have them both on 92.5 and 1010. If you're out doing your deal tonight, both stations will have the game. Immediately after it, they've been doing it for quite some time and really the entire year, which includes football and basketball. Denmark and Marsh on our socials will recap this game, and they both join us right now. Of course, Dylan, my regular producer, Dylan Denmark, Graham Marsh as well, big part of the family here on both radio stations. Gentlemen, it's good to have you in. Thanks for both coming on and talking about this matchup.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
I asked Dylan about 30 minutes ago, and he's a little apprehensive at this point. How are you feeling as we get closer to tip time?
I'm confident because here's the thing, Rick. I go through all the matchups and all the things and what I think is going to work out well for the Gators, work out well for the Cougars, yada, yada, yada. I think through everything. And then I'm like, who does Walter Clayton Jr. play for?
Yeah.
He plays for the Florida Gators.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I said this to Dylan the other night. I said, you pick against Walter Clayton Jr., it's your funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, if it's going to be close with 5 minutes left in the game, which I believe almost regardless it will be, this guy's going to hit big shots and ice the game, man. It's just how he's been all season.
He's been their best player. He's been the tournament's best player. It's going to have to take a major turnaround tonight if Houston wins for him not to be the MVP. If he's just average tonight and Florida does so, I think he accomplishes that. Are you concerned at all about the physicality of Houston? It looked like Duke really was worn down. They looked exhausted to me late in that game.
So out of the 4 bigs that Florida plays, 3 of them I'm not concerned.
Mm-hmm.
The guy I am concerned about is Alex Condon.
Yeah.
I know you talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. Alex Condon has been struggling all tournament offensively, has not had his best stuff on that end of the court. And then you go on the defensive end of the court, and I think it's affected him mentally a bit. He's not a soft player, but I think he's just mentally been out of it. We know he's not 100% with the ankle, but even you can kind of see when they show a close-up on him, the moment looks a little bit big.
Mm-hmm.
And against other physical bigs, he's struggled a little bit. Ruben Chinyelu looked totally fine against physicality because he's a mammoth of a human. And then the other 2 guys that come off the bench between Hanlockton and Hauk, the physicality's not been an issue with them. It's really mostly Condon. Can Condon get, hopefully offensively early in the game, a couple of buckets to really get him mentally into it? I think they'll be much better off if that happens.
Dylan, same question to you. The physicality here of Kelvin Sampson and his basketball team, how concerned are you with that for the Gators?
It's definitely a concern. You know, we saw Duke, Houston. Duke led every statistical category. You know, field goal percentage, free throw attempts, assists, steals, had fewer turnovers. The reason why Houston stayed in the game, Houston had 18 offensive rebounds to Duke's 10. And what does Florida do well? Offensive rebounds. Both teams are top 10 in the country. And I feel like if you have to slim it down to one statistical category tonight, I think the team that has the most offensive rebounds will win this game.
That's a great number. And that was my next question, actually. That's second chance points. And, you know, Florida, off of their own missed free throws, Dylan, against Connecticut, ended up being the difference in the game. And then their incredible free throw success against Texas Tech and taking advantage of Tech's missed free throws. I do see here that Houston actually against Duke on Saturday night, second chance points, the Cougars led in that statistic 19-12.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, late in the game when Houston stole the inbound pass from Duke with 30 seconds left, they missed a 3, but they get the putback immediately right away. And, you know, it's just things that just so routine for them. And, you know, when you're physical, things start to wear on you. You saw that with the Auburn game. We saw that with the Texas Tech game. And Todd Golden has done an excellent job so far in this tournament and all year, really, of having a game plan and sticking with it. Both games, they had big men that were attacking Florida, And as the game wore on, Florida they weren't fazed by it, and they stayed routine with it, and it ended up working for them. I wonder if it's going to say the same thing here in this game.
That is Dylan Denmark, Graham Marsh with us as well. It's called Denmark and Marsh. It'll be on all of our socials immediately following tonight's national championship game between Houston and Florida. All right, Kelvin Sampson, man, 30 years older than Todd
That's
Golden.
crazy.
69-39 tonight. You just think of the wisdom and the experience and everything that goes into it. That in itself is nuts. Sampson would be the oldest coach to ever win a national title. Todd Golden would tie the late Jimmy Valvano back in 1983 when NC State knocked off Houston. So, coaching advantage, as great as Golden is, I think everyone would point to Sampson simply because he's got so much more experience, and of course the way he coaches with the best overall defense in college basketball. But this is the matchup you wanted. You didn't want Duke.
100%.
Yeah.
I gotta, if I'm being honest with myself,
No doubt.
When Houston miraculously pulled off that win Saturday night, internally, I can tell myself whatever I want. Internally, I was happy to see that. It's something about that logo. It's something about Cooper Flagg being the best player in America. I definitely think this plays out better for Florida and gives them a better chance. I mean, Vegas agrees with that as well. So the main thing I wanted to go back really quickly, matchup-wise, that Dylan just brought up in terms of the rebounding. Or sorry, not in terms of rebounding, in terms of the defending, Florida does not ever double bigs, like Dylan was talking about. I think it's going to be a huge key because Houston's 3 guards all shoot north of 40%, and 2 of them shoot north of 45%. So you talk about shooters. I'm definitely glad the Gators are not playing Duke, but they got some players, man. Because normally, talking about Kelvin Sampson, why have his teams fallen short in the last few years? Shot making. They've had this defense for a while, but they've been able to keep that floor they've had in terms of being a great defensive team very high, and they've been able to really elevate their ceiling because now they got 3 guys that can really shoot the basketball.
Duke had 1 hoop in the final 10 and a half minutes of the game.
That's insane.
1 field goal.
Crazy.
And you're up. I mean, they go on an 11-1 run over the final 1 minute and 10 seconds of this basketball game. Dylan and I were talking about it earlier. If you follow win probability, it was 92.7% that Duke was going to win that game, and Houston just completely turned that around. So back to you, Graham. Florida's come from behind on some incredible runs. I really didn't see that in Houston because when you think of Houston, it's a well-coached team, a great defensive team, but they lit it up offensively when they absolutely had to.
They did, and I believe, there's a lot's been made of that over-the-back foul with Cooper Flagg, which questionable call, but I don't believe that's where Duke lost the game. I think where Duke lost the game was, first of all, like you said, not making any shots.
You got to make some field goals.
And then secondly, that inbound pass where they turn the ball over, that's the play that lost them the game, in my opinion. And everyone's talking about these freshmen. And Duke's got all these freshmen. They're inexperienced. And, that's the reason that they kind of panicked at the end because they weren't used to losing. I think that's on John Shire because Houston has to have a turnover in that play. You have to make them guard the entire court. Everybody from Duke was in one half of the court. Why would you do that? And it left everything cramped. Sure enough, inevitably it's a turnover. And to Dylan's point earlier with the rebounding, they missed the shot that you think is going to be the go-ahead shot to get them back in it, immediately get that put-back dunk. Now they're off to the races. Then I think when that dunk really happened, you could see Duke's freshmen looked a little bit shell-shocked.
Yeah,
like, oh my
no
goodness.
doubt. Dylan, you're down 8 at half to Auburn. You're down 9 early in the second half before, you keep making 3-point shots. This has been standard for Florida as of late. Can you afford, once again, to be down in a situation like this, whether it's early in the game? Certainly you don't want it to be late, even though there's been fantastic comebacks. But Florida has yet to play, in my opinion, 30-some-odd minutes of really good basketball. They've been spectacular at times, but there have been some massive droughts here for Florida.
Yeah, and one thing I heard earlier today, I was listening to Covers. They have a gambling site on YouTube, and they brought up a good point. If you watch the UConn game and the Texas Tech game, it was the 2 games they had that they played 48 hours right after another game, and they didn't play well, and they had to pull it out at the end. And that's something I didn't think about until they just did it. So UConn, they were down, tied, and then they pulled it out at the very end. We saw the same thing with Texas Tech. I wonder if the same thing is going to happen tonight. Because a lot of people are saying Houston, they had the high emotional win. You know, you have a shorter turnaround for Houston, and Florida has the advantage with the recovery. Well, Florida hasn't been able to do that as well in the second game on the weekend, after they had just played 48 hours before. I wonder if that's going to have an effect for Florida, if it is any. You get to these kind of games and you kind of start thinking about everything, and I think that's one of those things. But I still think that it's still going to be Florida's game.
Florida against Houston, the Gators favored somewhere in the neighborhood of a point and a half. The total 140.5. They'll play tonight at 8:50. And it is from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. We're going to have we're going to have the game for you on both of our stations, 1010 on the AM, 92.5 on the FM. Saturday night, the total was 160.5. This is 20 points less. So the odds makers are looking at it to be more of a defensive struggle here against Houston. I think the magic number, I didn't go out on a limb here. I said 70. That's half of what the total is. I think if Florida scores 70 tonight, they win. What number do you believe they got to hit?
I think you're about right on the nose, Rick. And Florida has only scored south of 70, I believe, once this season. Maybe it's been very few times.
It was a Tennessee game.
It was a Tennessee game when they only scored 44. I thought, yeah. So
right,
and that's obviously an outlier. So I think you're right on the nose, and I hope you're right on the nose, because if Florida hits that, which they most likely will, I agree, they're probably cutting down nets tonight. If this is a 65-60 game, that's probably going to be advantage Houston. And to the point that we've already made here, a lot of it's going to be about tempo. And how do you dictate the tempo of the game? Houston obviously wants to play slow. Florida wants to play fast. Who gets to dictate it? It's the team that gets stops.
Dylan, you said it earlier, but just for our new listening audience, what do you think the number is tonight?
I think it's 73 for Florida, because I don't think Houston can score that much. If you look at a lot of the games in the first half that Houston's played, they score anywhere in the range of 28 to about 35, and Florida is usually about 35 to 40. 60s is usually where they want to play, and if they get to 70, I think they're feeling good. The defense obviously is just where they are and where they play really well, and they lead. I believe they lead. They lead the country in, I think, possessions, like time of possession, having the most possessions in the game. That's just what they want to have, and you saw that a lot against Duke.
All right, let's wrap up with this. Let's begin with you, Dylan. The major key to the game tonight, in your opinion, and the outcome. What do you say?
Offensive rebounds is the number one key. I think the team that has the most offensive rebounds will win the game. I think Florida wins this game in a close one. I see it about 72 to 70. 72 to 70.
So going right down, the odds makers onto something, a one-possession basketball game. Graham, same deal. Key to the game and your view of the outcome.
So my main key, I believe, in listening to multiple people talk about this game and previewing it, most people believe that Houston's best scorer, L.J. Cryer, and Florida's best scorer, Walter Clayton Jr., are not going to be guarding each other. They're going to be guarding some assortment of the other guards. So of the other two guards on each team, who can make Walter Clayton Jr. or L.J. Cryer work the hardest on the defensive end to really make them maybe not have their best stuff offensively because they're so gassed? I think that's the major key, in my opinion. And pretty close prediction to Dylan. I like the Gators 75 to 70.
75 to 70. Okay, so you have it a little bit more high scoring. I just want to, before we get out of here, I just want to look back on, see what Houston was able to do Saturday night from the free throw line. I mean, Florida's shooting over 90% so far in this tournament. It has been absolutely spectacular. All right, it was a good effort for Houston. They got there 18 times and made 14 of them. So 77.8% is good. And, I think they would take that tonight, 14 of 18. But in a game like this, I see Florida going to the stripe more than 20 times.
I do too. The one worry in terms of the free throw line, Rick, is, again, Alex Condon. Yeah. He's been really struggling.
0 for 5.
And honestly, I agree with you. I see Florida hitting the line a lot. I see him being a guy that gets fouled a lot. You think Kelvin Sampson's not telling their team, if you're going to foul somebody, foul number 21 that has been a head case at the line. And everybody else has been mostly nails.
Yeah, and with Houston, when they played Duke in the second half, they were not in foul trouble at all. So I'm sure they know what to do, and they're wise on what they're going to do. Not getting to Florida in the double bonus and taking 2 shots every time they foul late in the game.
Quick correction, Condon was 0 for 5 from the field. He was 1 of 3 from the free throw line.
And that one was his only point in the game.
Yeah.
1 point and a foul out.
Florida was 21 of 30 in that game after going, 25 of 27 last Saturday against Texas Tech, which was just filthy. I mean, that game was won at the free throw line. I think 25 for Florida, if memory serves me correct, and I think it was 8 for Texas Tech. I mean, those numbers are
and you missed the 2 front ends of the 1-and-1.
Yeah.
If Texas Tech makes one of those free throws, we're not here talking about the Gators in the national championship game right now.
That's Graham Marsh along with Dylan Denmark. They will be with you on all of our social networks after tonight's basketball game. Win or lose, they call it Denmark and Marsh. Thanks for coming by.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Rick.
That's Graham Marsh. Dylan Denmark as well. We got a lot more to do. We'll grab some of your thoughts on this. 641-1010 text line, best way to join us. And again, that is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Here come the Gators.
Fires for 3. Good.
This is the NCAA National Championship game.
Bang! Got it off the catch.
Pre-game coverage starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on your home for Florida basketball. 1010XL.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
All right, Ballou here. Let's get real. Losing weight is not fun, right? And it's certainly not easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food really everywhere I go. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down more than 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great. So even when I'm out and on the road, that's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. So that's huge. 10 pounds down. If you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time for you to join Awaken 180. Hacker did it. Incredible results. Dempsey and Hayes as well. Basically, everyone who has done it says the same thing. It's easy. Go online. Awaken180weightloss.com.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators, and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
The Masters is coming to 1010XL
at Augusta.
And Fantasy Golf on 1010XL returns. Win $1,000 of jewelry from Beards Diamonds. Teed up by Pella Windows and Doors. Go to 1010XL.com now.
Surf in the Summer Surf Camp is now registering for camps this summer. Get your kids out to the beach this summer. For registration and session dates, Log on to surfinthesummer.com. Surf in the Summer, Jacksonville Beach's premier surf camp.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear. Deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, you have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits. You have the right to choose your own doctor, too. And I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation, the auto accident experts.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Parents, now is the time to sign your kids up for the best basketball league in the 904. Tommy Houlihan's Summer Beaches Basketball League. Season starts in June, and games will be played in the St. Paul's Gym. Go to TommyHoulihanBasketball.com for all the info.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it and send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. Max Fink here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
We are about an hour and 5 minutes away from tip time tonight from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. The Gators trying to win their third national championship in college basketball. They are the slightest favorite, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 1.5 points, depending on where you shop. My guess would be if you're heading towards Mayport and you're getting your line from a bookie there off one of the docks, that may be up to 2.5. That would be just a guess with a lot of public money coming in on Florida in these parts. But it's stayed pretty consistent if you look around, including in Las Vegas. If you're going to watch it on TV, Iron Eagle, Bill Raftery, who's retiring, Grant Hill and Tracy Wolfson. If you want to listen here on radio, we're going to have it for you on both stations, 92.5 on the FM and, of course, 1010 on the AM. We just previewed Denmark and Marsh. They will do their postgame on our socials after tonight's basketball game here between Florida and Houston. Okay, big news today as well for the Jaguars, although this is not a surprise. The fifth-year option was picked up today by the Jaguars. It's a team-only option, so Trayvon Walker is at least in for 2 more seasons this year and in 2026 as well. His rate for the 2026 season, his salary, I should say, $14,750,000 $751,000. Great money. This year he'll play for 11.8. But, contract discussions have begun, and there have been, a point of emphasis that I don't think there's any doubt that Jacksonville wants Trayvon Walker to be here for the next several years. What is the going rate going to be? That is a concern. I mean, Myles Garrett, $40 million, $35 million for Max Crosby. And every day you wait, this market is going to continue to set, and it's going to grow. Trey Hendrickson's going to get a big deal. Micah Parsons is going to get a big deal. Those two have spoken about it through the media. Okay, they're using leverage there. I haven't really heard anything about Aiden Hutchinson, but many have him as a guy who's performed more and better than Trayvon Walker. So that is still up there as well. One other football note, and we'll get back to a lot of football beginning tomorrow. Adam Schefter today saying that he's starting to hear that Cleveland is really interested in Travis Hunter. And again, I'm trying to do whatever it takes to get Hunter here to Duval. It feels like that's going to be difficult. Travis Hunter, perhaps number 2, going to the Cleveland Browns. 60-65. Rick, would it be crazy rooting for the Gators? I mean, if your team isn't in it and it makes all my friends happy, isn't that what matters the most? It is tonight. Go Gators. Cheers, brother. No, absolutely no way. You just can't do it. Doesn't mean I don't have a lot of Gator friends. Doesn't mean I don't like the Gators, but there's certain things in life. You're never going to get me to root for the New York Yankees. You're never going to get me to root for the Montreal Canadiens. You're never going to get me to root for the Los Angeles Lakers, okay? I'm not going to root for the Florida Gators. Now, I'll also say this. I don't have hate. I don't know it's because if I'm older and I'm softer or because it's basketball. It may be a combination of the three. Okay? I'm not going to take, let's say, my Reggie Jefferson 33-ounce Louisville Slugger. It's got the black barrel, old school Reggie Jefferson, and put it through a flat screen TV tonight if Florida wins. I'm not going to be violent over it, right? There still is some of that football-wise, but it's just not in hoops. And I wish I had more of an explanation for you. It's not the same thing. I'm not trying to dumb down the game. I'm not trying to lessen anything here. It's just the way that I'm wired. Not even close. Could you find yourself rooting for Florida State or Georgia?
No.
No, neither could I. Nope. All right, 12-0-1 Blue. Gators got way too many weapons. Going to pass the ball and gas them in the second half. Gators shoot and steal. Shoot. Unstoppable. Gators win the national championship. You said gas them. Well, if they do that, then that totally changes the complexion of this basketball game because that's exactly what Houston did to Duke. Again, those are all 5 stars. Those are well-conditioned athletes. They had one bucket in the final 10.5 minutes, and they looked to me like they were absolutely exhausted. They did. 0148 Blue. Well, tonight is the night. They play a complete game. Rick, Gators by double digits. That would not shock me if they do play the complete game, right? And, you know, I almost think that if Florida's down by 8 or 6 at halftime, they were down 8 against Auburn, they're still fine. You don't want to be in that situation, but I still think they're going to be fine. The one thing, though, that really I can't get through is that 11-1 run by Houston at the end of the Duke game. I still cannot believe I witnessed that. For what it's worth, I think Florida wins, and I'll say they win 70-63. Okay? That's my magic number, 7. So if I was forced to make a play tonight, I would take the Gators and I would lay the points. Okay? And also it looks like I have the total coming under in this basketball game. But that's why they play it. And that's why it becomes so enjoyable. We'll see. 9711 says, Ballou, could Houston defensive numbers look better due to their schedule and who they played? I should have done the research, but I'm driving. Well, yeah, they were in the Big 12 this year. I know Tech beat them. Texas Tech beat them, but they were 19-1 this year in the Big 12. 58.5 points a game, man. That's what they allow. Think of that. This is like old Dick Bennett, Wisconsin basketball. This is like old school Princeton basketball. How do you allow your opponent through the course of what now, 37 games?
I think the most impressive thing defensively for them, like we saw BYU and how much they could score, they held them to 54 in the Big 12 title. Or not the title, in that tournament.
39 games. I mean, this is quite a sample size. 39 games and their opponent only puts up 58.5 a contest? You don't win any games when you're scoring 58, 59 points. And their field goal, percentage defensively is among the best in college basketball, allowing only, 38.2% field goal percentage. As a Gator fan, I would never root for FSU. Always want to lose. You should. What do we try? Are we hurting feeling? Not trying to hurt feelings here? Of course, they're your rival. Of course you want them to lose. Doesn't mean you're not, good friends with whomever. But that's just the way it is. In some cases, watching your rival lose is just as exciting as watching your team win. It all depends on what you think. All right, let's wrap it up with this. 32.99 says, I love the Trayvon deal. I was imagining Cincinnati making a trade for that, and we get Hendrickson for 125 over 4 years. Those numbers just scare the living snot out of me as an edge. I mean, 4 years, $125 million. That's it's $160 million for 4 years for Myles Garrett on average, 40 a year, 35 for Max Crosby. They are gonna get paid at the pass rush position. There's absolutely no question about that. All right, we'll have more on the Jaguars tomorrow as we move one day closer to the NFL draft. This is simply the best week of the year that is non-football related. I think it passes by with Florida here than what we saw last month, where you had the start of free agency and then a week at the Players' Championship. That was absolutely spectacular. But for the Gator fans, if they can win this tonight and then you get through tomorrow and bam, you're smack dab into the middle of what's going to be a great week with the Masters. Wednesday, we're going to have our 92.5 golf event out at Cimarron. And we're going to do our show there after the fact. So that'll be Wednesday at Cimarron. Already looking forward to that. But I can wait because I want to watch tonight's game. And certainly am excited about tomorrow's program as well. Okay, Hacker not with you. He'll be with you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And tomorrow night, his show as well at 8. But we're going to play for you the Gators and the Cougars in the national championship on both of our stations. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. Thank you to Graham Marsh. Thank you to former Florida State head coach Pat Kennedy. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow at 6. Have a great night.